Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hearts Divine 4, The New Order, Last Days of Europe, as the Western Siberian Provisional Authority, based out of Omsk. Now, in the last video, well, we started working on hunting down the insurgency led by Pavel Batov. We're doing a pretty solid job so far, I think, as far as I can tell. We're about to initiate Operation Homecoming in, what was that, Sverdlovsk, the former capital of the, all that nonsense. In fact, we just did it right now, didn't we? We'll escalate ISD operations while we're at it. And, yeah, we're doing pretty well. Now, I'm going to hope that I can record this in one last block, because I don't know what's going to happen if I end up closing this mod. Because the day I recorded this is the day that, well, the day that there was a bunch of issues, the people who, how do I word it? There are a couple of, what's a good way to put this? There are a bunch of... Do we want to launch the intervention now? Let me see. Can I just deploy all these lines instantly? Great. I'll do that. And then, honestly, I'll get working on launching a military intervention soon. Okay. I'll read his focus, and then I'll go ahead and figure out how to explain this. What are we going to want to do? Maybe... Let's do total industrial nationalization. The Black League has already assumed production of vital industries like weaponry production and infrastructure construction to make sure they serve the needs of a state. But other industries, as well as local businesses, continue to work independently of our government. We will put an end to this. We cannot tolerate any industry outside of our control. Left to their own devices, industrials prefer to cater to the decadent consumers, producing unnecessary luxuries that will be of no use to us. We must seize their factories and their workshops so that they can begin producing the items that we will need in our upcoming struggle. We will allow owners who are compliant to remain supervisors of their factories. Their experience will be of much use to us. Those who choose not to do their patriotic duty will, of course, be dealt with as deemed necessary. Their industry is necessary to our success. They are not. But yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it, because there's a lot of private shit that really is not anyone's fucking business, but got aired out by a bunch of loser dipshits who have nothing else better to do than harass a bunch of people who make a mod for a map game. But yeah, the TNO, I believe it was the GitHub page, got hacked, and that's basically how they work together, how the devs share all their progress. Are we going to be able to do this in time, or will they just spear them? Because I have a feeling if they spear them, I think how that works, if we spear them, if they spear them, it's war no matter what. Which, if that's the case, that might be complicated. Ooh. It's long been suspected that Pavel Batov, the treacherous leader of the insurgency plaguing the League, has hidden somewhere on the outskirts of Sverdlovsk. The city was the former headquarters of the military clique that Batov belonged to, and even after it was reclaimed by the League, it remained a hotspot of terrorism and sabotage. The local garrison has struggled to pacify the region around the city, and recently reported that there was a serious risk of being forced to abandon their positions in the face of escalating attacks if they were not reinforced. In response, a full division was ordered to the city to destroy the rebellion once and for all. Word of their impending arrival reached the city before they did. Local rebels launched a full rebellion. By the time the division arrived in the city had devolved into a war zone, and the local garrison was besieged inside City Hall and their fortified barracks. With no possibility of a sudden city-wide sweep that would catch the rebels off guard, the division commander adapted a new strategy. Combat squads entered the city ready to clear it house by house. Intense street fighting quickly enveloped Sverdlovsk, but the uprising has been hastily organized and began abruptly before the rebels were organized. Did I just read that? I'm tired. I shouldn't be doing... I probably shouldn't be recording right now, but I kind of have to, so we'll do it. They were no match for disciplined forces of the Black League. By the end of the first day, most of the garrison had been relieved and the city center was secure. It took several more days before the outskirts were recaptured, but by that time, most of the partisans were on the run, their loyalty to their officers vanishing as soon as they realized they were losing. No sign was found of Batov, though a hidden command post that he may have stayed in was uncovered. The city suffered significant damage during the fighting, but with the rebel force out, restoring order should be an easier task than before. So, how are we doing now? We're doing pretty damn well, actually. We just need to... I'll probably save before Operation Nightfall and come back here so we can read the little event. But, anyway, what was I saying? The GitHub was hacked, which is basically how they work. We'll do this. We'll do some of this stuff while we're here. Just how they basically organize how they're going to make the mod, stuff like that. And a couple of devs got doxxed, harassed, even outed. It's a ugly fucking affair, it really is. It's not pleasant. And so there was talks about the mod being this mod being taken down and rehosted on another page, which fair enough. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna finish recording this and just go ahead and wait for the mod to be re-released, because I don't know if the saves are gonna be fucked with or not. They've said that they shouldn't be, but I'd rather play it safe. And besides, I have homework that I don't want to do anyway, so this will be a good excuse to not do it, I guess. But yeah, that's obviously shitty. And it sucks for the devs, and I'll pay out for debt. Why not? I'll do some more anti-tank, maybe some more artillery. So yeah, I don't want to go too much into it, just because I've learned a lot of shit that I really probably don't have any right to learn about the devs' personal lives, and it's not my place to know. Not really anyone's fucking place to know. So yeah. It's a whole fucking mess. 30 days. Man, we'll have enough time, I think. What do we need? Is there anything really like minute we can do? Was it 75? Searching strength is slower. Okay, yeah. Might as well do that. Does it have to be greater, or... Fuck, it has to be greater, so we're gonna be right on it. I should have read that better. And I should do this focus. Let's go ahead and optimize agricultural output. Despite our intense focus on industrializing our nation, millions of our people do not work in industrial fields. We cannot forget the Russians who grow our food, who raise our beasts of burden, and form the bedrock that modern society is built upon. While we're bringing the nation's factories into the modern age, we must do the same for its farms. Large private farm concentrate too much power in owners' hands, while small family farms are inefficient. Both must be abolished and replaced with a new system of state-owned work sites, where agricultural cadres can work the crops and raise the livestock that will feed their fellow Russians. State ownership will also make it easier to implement new technologies and techniques that define modern agriculture. Gone are the days of wheelbarrows and hand tools. This time our farmers meant tractors and chemical fertilizers. There we go. Yeah. I was debating making a video on it. I might make it. It'll probably, if I do make it, it'll be out before this is out. But in case I don't, if I have any devs watching this right now, especially anyone, if if they got it, if you got, like, how do I want to war this? God damn it! I didn't think I was gonna do that. I would have to do this today. You guys have my sympathies. I think it's shitty what happened to you. No one should have to deal with that. Keep up your good work. I'm sorry that all this happened, and I hope you guys are okay and that you can manage to still do some good work. I don't know. That might kind of worded. I don't know if that was worded right. Hopefully you guys know what I mean. Hopefully. Shit. No. Yeah, I don't know. I love this mod. Helped me get through this shitty quarantine. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate the devs. And I hope you guys can man it. I hope you guys are okay. Take a break if you need to. I hope you come back better and stronger out of it. Hopefully that came off right. I don't know. Let's move on. Let's move on to something that isn't, awkward. Like better tools. Modern industry is a complicated matter. It requires more than lots of workers. It requires more than lots of workers on an assembly line to build an armored infantry vehicle or a jet plane. It requires advanced machinery and tools, both rarities throughout Russia. Though we managed to create some of these mechanics on our own and captured a few more in our reclamation of Western Siberia, it's not enough to meet our needs. Our engineers are in the process of reverse engineering the simpler examples of these tools, such as handheld welding torches and powered drills, so that we can begin producing them domestically. Other items like robotic assembly arms and automated assembly lines will need to be imported, for now, as they are too complex for us to produce. But once we have the industry to support them, these too will be disassembled and examined. Soon Russia will have a thriving modern industrial base, and we will not be relying on outsiders to sell our tools for us. For decades, Russia failed to modernize its industry, and our enemies took advantage of that. They will not find us so underprepared. Alright. Ooh, right. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Oh, okay. You got... Yeah, they can do that. That definitely works for them. And us, honestly. That works for me as well. I am totally fine trying to snake in here. Are these guys no, they're not leaving capital, I was about to say. These silly boys are about to leave the damn capital. Open for me. Can I try to snake in and take Orenburg? That would be huge if I could do that. Now, pay attention. Do you see this? You must measure the part carefully off of the design you've been given. Then, make a rough cut. Slowly now. Measure twice, cut once. Retake the measurement. Here, take this. Now adjust carefully. Once you've cut it down, begin to hollow out the barrel. The first team of 10 was assembled around the lathe, watching carefully as they're attended to his trade. What? Am I just too tired to understand that, or is that I'm misspeaking? A typo. I don't know. It was barely possible to hear him over the din of the other machinery. You must be able to do this within acceptable tolerances. This will vary greatly. Make sure to look at the design, or your work will be useless. All 10 watched carefully as he continued with the lesson, until a serviceable barrel was made and put on the rack. Next, it will go for rifling, and then assembly. Now, do you understand everything you've been told? The team looked at each other with varying degrees of confidence. Yes, comrade. Well, there we go. What do we want to work on now? Let's do a society on equal footing. It's not enough to posture to the people that we wish to defeat the Germans and visit upon them the suffering that they brought upon us. We need to be ready. It's not enough for us to operate as other nations do. Our mission requires us to be constantly producing and overproducing wartime material. Everything from guns to rations needs to be in vast supply. We will not be caught unprepared again. We shall prepare Russia to be ready for war at any moment. We shall complete this preparation by completing a highly militarized society, in which military production is prioritized. Our people live in highly regimented lives and organized units dedicated to specific tasks. Those who refuse to work within the system shall work outside of it, in industries in which potential sabotage is of no concern. Alright, what do we want to do here? We'll do organization. I got something funny I can't talk about. I tried to send a nice message to the devs on Discord because there's like a dev appreciation post, and I couldn't. Not Discord. Reddit. I forget if I said Discord or Reddit, but it was Reddit. Like I said, I'm tired. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. And that guy got encircled, which is not preferable at all. But so yeah, I tried to send them a nice message, but my account didn't have the Reddit karma, because you need a minimum of 20, and I don't post on Reddit at all. And so, it got auto-deleted by the mods, the auto-moderator. So that kind of sucked, but, thought that counts and all that. Okay, we got that. Let's go ahead and initiate Operation Nightfall. 7 days. We will be done. Go ahead, core all that up. The Great Caucasian Revolt. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Go figure. The one time I want to post on Reddit, my lack of karma gets me. Oh well. Shit, I want to figure out something else to talk about. Fuck. If I had Twitch chat around, I could ask them, hey, how are you guys doing? And talk about whatever dumb bullshit they want to talk about. Nothing against you, Twitch chat. I love you, but... Ooh, okay, here we go. Nikolai peered at the compound through a sniper scope, the gray tenement appearing bulbous and discombobulated around the edges. Its facade might as well be Marshal Batov's tombstone. The Black League had tracked the insurgent to his corner, where he can no longer escape. Still. What the fuck is that? That's what I get for recording when the people are still up and awake. I get distracted by their noises outside. Anyway, still. It appeared magnificent. The sandbags on every window, machine guns polished to glinting in the early morning sun. Pavel Batov had chosen not to go for whimper, but a statement. Nikolai liked that, even if the marshal was a traitor to the motherland. Crackling on the radio, Nikolai took and lit his final cigarette before the operation began, to steady his hands as he stated to superiors. Optimally, he would have also requested a can of coffee, beans, and a reclining chair, but he digressed. He was growing sarcastic of the proceedings in the League. At least it was a good pay and good food. They paid high rates for snipers, both against them and with them. In the distance, a faint explosion boomed through the air, its reverberance barely halting before a whistling sound, then an earth-shattering boom. Black League troops, dressed in camouflage, took this as their signal. In waves and waves, they advanced against the great tomb as machine guns turned their lambent gaze to perforate their bodies with lead. More mortar shells, more troops, more guns, until the rapid fire halted, replaced with sporadic, pathetic pops. Batov stepped out from the backside of the building, alone, unguarded. Here was Nikolai's quarry, the former marshal of the West Siberian Military District. With one press of a trigger, he let loose a bullet that would nail Batov in the shoulder. 3 Black League troops followed him, but he pulled his trusty Tokarev and shot. It all happened too quickly for Nikolai to follow, but when he was set to finish the marshal off, he halted. He saw Batov crawl over the concrete pavement, a single hand scalping a gravityless cliff, blood trailing behind him. Soon, he would stop, and his head would sag. He was dead. A worthy enemy's end. We lose 1 manpower, and Pavel Batov is dead. Ding dong, the wicked bitch is dead. The insurgency has been neutralized. We are done. Beautiful. We'll finish off these guys, and I think we'll be done for training troops for a while. Let's go for the 3 theses. You shall learn and memorize the 3 theses as they have been passed down to us from the Glavkarik himself. 1. The Great Trial is inevitable. 2. Russia will be destroyed by the Great Trial if it is not prepared. 3. The Black League is the only organization capable of preparing Russia for the Great Trial. Learn these theses, and learn them well. Know them to be true. The salvation of our people and revenge against the Germans are contingent on these few words. There we go. Get some artillery going. Yelena Karbasheva was not a woman of weak convictions. Daughter of a legendary Black League leader, Dmitry Karbashev, she had gone through the entirety of her childhood under her father's vision, which she now embraced. If only he was still here, she thought to herself as her loyalists and the remnants of Batov's men sped her into the nearest car bound for West Russia. Perhaps they would not be in so much trouble. She remembered how he was in his final days, mind addled with disappointment and body inhibited by a cold and mysterious sickness. Yelena left not long after. They brought her to an open-topped military car, ready for perusal. Perhaps out there in the West, she can find refuge and bring news of the madman Yazov's plans. The Black League had betrayed her father's beliefs. She did not want to rule nor take power. She only saw what love had powered. Now only hate ruled. Seated at the back of the car, she saw the building and tenements of a small town and vowed to return. Then her chauffeur turned the engines and pressed the gas pedal. The car did not roar alive. Instead, only a click and a ticking. Before she could warn and get out of it, she was consumed by the flames and the inferno. Yet another enemy of the state eliminated, and with that, the last embers of resistance have been wiped out. Got 50 PP, 10 stability, and a bit of a hit to manpower, which is unfortunate, but Pavel Batov is dead. Ding dong, the wicked bitch is dead. Yazov stared at the dossier. It was thin, as were all the files belonging to the enemies of the Black League. The Black Hand knew the bare minimum necessary for strategic action, or they had already brought an abrupt end to their careers. In any case, there was little need to maintain extended correspondence. Most of the time, the dossiers were also anonymous. Why pretend these people mattered in more than purely operational capacities? Not this one, however. This one was earmarked by Yazov himself, and in the days since he'd authorized offensive action against its subject, he'd come again and again to its pages. How could he not? The dossier belonged to the daughter of his greatest influence, his second father, his enemy, and now an anonymous corpse officially buried in an anonymous grave. He flicked open the pages, poring over the details. Where had it gone wrong? Surely there had been some imagined slight, some magnified transgression that swallowed them both, broke father from child. There had to be. What happened to them? If things had gone differently, would Karbasheva now be standing in those place, fighting for the iron dream of Russia born anew? And how best to honor a daughter who had died fighting her father's greatest dream? Izov had never found the answer to that satisfactorily. So he had to come up with his own. As he grasped a page of a dossier, he prayed he'd done the right thing. That night, the government of Omsk announced a planned renewal of the founder's memorial in the city center. Repairs took a day to complete. If a coffin with a dossier placed atop it made its way to the memorial, no one took notice. And if it did not emerge come the morning, when the memorial was resealed, there was nary a peep. I do this for you, General. Huh. Is there anything else we want to do? Let's encourage some returning expatriates. Let's see what suckers we can trick to coming back here. What the hell is happening? I think Sheeta is going to win. I think. I don't know. Ooh, this is actually pretty appropriate for the recent happenings. I'll read it. A rather interesting alternate history novel has been gaining some attention around the world, perhaps for all the wrong reasons. The Greatest Story Never Told, released 2 weeks ago, self-published by certain Bodian Clefton Dixie, almost certainly a pen name, with a hand-drawn cover, with some critics described as a crude drawing of a tank with a Dixie flag, rolling over a Nazi flag with a hammer and sickle instead of a swastika, within a thought balloon coming out of George Lincoln Rockwell's head. The novel is a strange ramble about if Rockwell hadn't been assassinated by, quote, Judeo-Bolsheviks, unquote, he would have created, quote, the greatest story in mankind's history, and goes on to blame his death on, quote, Jews being afraid of what truths he could write. The novel has garnered attention, all due to its bizarre tone and claims such as Nazi Germany being a Judeo-Bolshevik bastion due to it being, quote, led by a party who is socialist before it is nationalist, among many other astonishing claims, which are surprisingly comedic, hence its widespread success in the US and abroad. Oh, I never thought I could laugh like this again. Oh, bonk. Oh, bonk. How was the administrative strain, real quick? I want to check. It's not, obviously it's not preferable, but we're working on it. Although we're losing a lot of PP a day. All the integration, I think. I'll hold off on doing this, because that monthly population hit is not nice. Let's work out our imagery abroad. Now that we've united West Siberia, it is about time we cultivate an appropriate image for ourselves. We need to appear as a legitimate unifier if we want any support from the other powers. Our contenders cannot be allowed to gain the support and backing we direly need. An appearance of strength and determination will get us the attention of America and Japan, which will allow us to receive aid to the build-up for the unification of Russia and the Great Trial. Making sure the other powers know that we are the only ones capable of defending Russia from the evils of National Socialism will surely let us stand apart from any other rival government who don't have the dedication. With assistance from foreign powers, our rivals will be diminished, and we stand above all of our enemies. Excellent. Excellent indeed. American uncultured. Which one is that? Okay. Bobby's working on schools. Ideologies are weak. It is important that you, as officer candidates, understand that a just cause does not win wars. If that was the case, then Germany surely would have been defeated in the last war. But instead they won, not because of some mythical racial heritage, but because their armed forces were the strongest. It is for this reason that we will not teach you ideals, but simply the observable facts upon which we base our actions. Our entire program of national salvation is founded upon a set of 3 tautological theses, into which we have condensed the whole of Dmitry Karbyshev's geostrategic thought. So it is an ideology, never mind. The first Karbyshevite thesis. The great trial is inevitable. It is impossible to know the true intentions of nation-states, and thus conflict between them is inevitable. And so, our present tripolar arrangement is bound to collapse eventually into global conflict in the form of great trial, with Russia as its geographic center. The second thesis, if Russia is not prepared for the trial, our civilization will be obliterated. To prove this, one must only look at the weapons of modern war. The next war will be totally beyond any concept of totality. Eventually, nuclear weapons will be used, which, if we're not prepared to face them, will lead to our annihilation. And at last, the third thesis, the synthesis. As the only organization which has recognized this geopolitical inevitability, and the only one which is actively preparing to face it, the Black League is Russia's sole hope for survival. We will fortify our nation, and once the guns fall silent, we will emerge from beneath the earth to take back that which is ours, and exact our vengeance upon the Germans. A fine performance indeed. Let's see what's happening. Barotistan has broken away. Zambia has broken away. Any luck for Botswana? You want to let them go, Hans? Let's see. Burundi is free. Rwanda is free. Uganda is free. Oh, our core is coming along. Not bad. Always found it weird that, seems that Omsk is able to integrate all these guys better than Samara. It's a little weird, but, oh well. I'm still amazed that the AI actually managed to, peacefully figure out the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. West Siberian Provisional Authority, Foreign Ministry, Internal Memo number 1. If you receive this memo, it means you've been shortlisted to serve your mother country in the new Foreign Ministry. Offices are being prepared in Western Omsk, and you will be notified when you are required. Starting immediately, you are required to begin your planning around the key diplomatic issues facing the League, and be ready to present solutions. Issue number 1, Foreign Relations and Legitimacy for Authority. Goodwill is a meaningless fiction, but if we allow the Americans and Japanese to believe us to be a hostile or threatening regime, then we will soon find our rivals to be meeting us on the field with foreign guns in hand and volunteers at their backs. Additionally, any embargoes must be strangled in the cradle, especially on goods that will needed to prepare for the great trial. Number 2, as the great maw of the Black League opens up to an unsuspecting world, naive humanitarians will flood into our territory to help. We need to ensure that they are monitored, that they find nothing they should not, and that every scrap of value is extracted from their visit. Number 3, the German menace casts a long shadow over Russia, and we need to cow them into inaction until we are truly prepared for the trial. Number 4, many of the illegitimate warlords have grown too paranoid towards us to make infiltration a straightforward task. We need to choose new and vulnerable victims we can begin spying on. The world will know of us only what we want them to. 25 political power. Beautiful. We could send a message to Berlin. That might be funny. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead and work on the duty of the Black League. Every member of the Black League, from the Glaverick to the newest inductee, has a nigh sacred duty to prepare themselves, others, in the nation for the great trial. The great trial is inevitable. It seems like every day it edges closer and closer. Every member of the League needs to be made aware of the duty that they have and the duty that they are expected to carry out to the end of their lives, if need be. We are the only organization well equipped and aware enough of the impending conflict to prepare the nation for the upcoming trial. The duty of every member, high and low, new or old, is to prepare to avenge the crimes of the Germans, and everyone must be made aware of this. Like an oncoming storm, filled with a torrential downpour, Russia will be this to the Teuton. The duty of the League and her members demands it. There we go. Yeah, Batov is dead. Now we just have some random fucking support for some random asshole there. Now we got the cores. Getting some more manpower. What are we constructing right now? Yeah, we just need civilian factories, help get a bit of a better economy. And a bit better industrial base so we can build more shit, most importantly. Builds more stuff in Chelyabinsk, actually. More, freer military factories. What do we do? All loyal citizens must donate any materials they can to the war effort. You will be required to make a donation of at least 1 pound of metal. This can be iron, aluminum, steel, or other useful materials. Come out of your homes immediately and report to the town center with your items for donation. The truck with a loudspeaker kept trundling past barely standing, ramshackle houses and towards the church. As soon as it arrived, the officer driving was presented with quite a scene. A soldier pointing his rifle, bayonet fixed, and a priest holding out his cross. They were conversing rather tersely with each other. The people here have been ushered from cradle to grave by the spell, and you shall not have it. I cannot allow it, even on my life. The priest spoke with a religious fervor, but the rifleman was adamant, as he should be. The officer walked up slowly, not bothering to unholster his pistol. The Black League requires this material for the war effort. We will dismantle it whether you like it or not. Over my dead body. If that is necessary. I do not believe that it will be. The officer motioned for the men to climb the tower. The priest blocked the door with his arms. The men held out their rifles. Would they shoot? No. The officer looked at the priest, looked at the men, then grabbed the priest by the scruff of the neck and threw him in the mud. Proceed. And do not delay with this, like this, with the rest of the collections. We moved from next town by sundown. The history of Russia melted away. 500 units of support equipment. Fuck yeah! Ah, fuck history. Let's burn that shit down. I need support equipment. Go ahead and get rid of some of that debt we're acquiring. Let's go ahead and do some industrial cadres. The Black League is no longer confined to a single city and its surroundings. We now control a huge swath of territory and the people that live on it. Toss my socks away. As a natural result of our expansion, the population of our state has increased almost tenfold in mere months. This influx of new people has put a severe strain on our society, especially the system of cadres. Millions of our new citizens await assignment to a cadre that will decide how they are to serve Russia and the League. But until they are assigned, they exist in a sort of limbo, uncertain of what to do or what comes next. Minister Pitorvanov has recommended that we prioritize assigning these new workers to the industrial cadres, at least in the short term. For many of the massive expansions of our industrial base, many of the existing cadres have been stretched thin and are working overtime to keep the factories running. An influx of fresh workers into the sector would both increase our productivity and greatly reduce the number of cadreless citizens. Their labor could be more useful somewhere else in the future. There is nothing stopping the League from simply reassigning them. There we go. That works for me. Does that work for you guys? Hold on. Drop tanks. Let's go ahead and go with... Do you want to go for next generation of cast? I kind of want to, honestly. Okay, I think we'll do it. There we go. Beautiful. Better army professionalism. That's what I need right about now, let me tell ya. Whew. We can start going down this if we want. Let me check the professional army increase. Not bad. I want to get to that Spartan discipline. That's gonna be great. But I think we're already well ahead of, I think, at the very least, Vyatka, I want to say. Anyway. Every city has the potential to become a stronghold against the enemy. Without much preparation, they can become concrete mazes that an attacker must clear block by block to secure. The cities of a Black League are no different, but our generals see room for improvement. By rebuilding destroyed urban centers along strict, carefully planned guidelines, the cities can be made vastly more efficient in many areas. Shopping districts can be remade into housing projects, churches into command centers, city squares into labor yards. By reorganizing the urban landscapes of our state, we can also turn the cities into massive fortresses. Narrow streets will be make moving through the city difficult, and can be easily transformed into choke points at a moment's notice. Each city will have a detailed plan outlining several layers of prepared defense. Should the League come under attack, the invaders will regret the day they decided to fight on our terms. Infrastructure, a little bit of a civilian factory. Omsk is going to have, how many? 22 out of their 25 possible building slots. That's incredible. We also looked over the roster for Cadre 602-981. It's always difficult to actually fill out the 80 people required, and now it was worse than ever. Luckily, a new batch had come in. He didn't really care where they came from anymore, as long as they were able to keep able enough and willing to work. All those currently not assigned to Cadre 602-981, please step forward. 32 were counted. Mostly young boys, barely out of their youth cadre, but they would do. They never really seemed too eager about being on an industrial line making tools or guns or clothes, but it was always hard to tell what the reason for that was. Some were afraid of battle, understandably so. Those were small, pinched faces he saw staring up at him, but others were furious at the missed opportunity to do what they now viewed as their nation's most honored duty. They wore the angled brows with staring eyes and clenched jaws. With enough solid work, who knows what might happen? An infantry or command cadre in time, but for now they would serve their nation in the rapidly expanding industrial cadres that would bring Omsk to parity with its neighbors, and eventually the whole of Russia. Soldiers in many uniforms. There we go. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't swap that unit around for whatever reason. Civilian construction. Oh, Salazar's dead. And they've gone to war with Algeria. The French have taken back over Metropolitan France and all of that. do we have? We only have a few seconds left in this video before my timer goes off. Hold on, I'm going to send a message real quick. Well, new urban development programs. Let's go ahead and do something else. While we are here. The National Redoubt Program. I want to get working down to this because I'm really curious what that is. Now we got the black budget. We must do whatever we can to close the technology gap between our state and the rest of the world. The final struggle is drawing near, and the technological advantage could prove decisive. Our scientists will have all the funds they could ever ask for. Every resource will be granted at their request. The fate of a nation is on the line. We cannot afford to lose Russia again over something as trivial as research constraints. The scientists of the Black League will have no restriction on their research, either material or ethical. We will allow anything if it has a chance of strengthening our cause. To keep track of a resource request and consumption during testing and experimentation, a separate confidential budget will have to be created. This black budget will function as a log of items we have diverted from other areas to priority research. This will include weapons requiring stress testing, tanks with flawed armor designs, even prisoners who would otherwise join the redemption brigades that will instead be earning their redemption as test subjects. The scientists will have everything we can offer them. Their budget will make sure that they do not waste it. Not ominous at all. I don't know why you'd say that. I'm going to cut it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content feature, go ahead and hit the sub button from uploads every weekday, as well as sometimes, occasionally Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. I read all the comments. Again, appreciate any and all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, anything of the sort, leave it in, check out my Discord down link below. If you want to send a few bucks my way, check out my Patreon. If you want to see me do this sort of stuff live, I have a Twitch, all of which are down in the description box below. That's really about it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been DB333, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.